that remains between your inner realities and yourself is protected in the world. Because when you present yourself to that world, you'll see that your inner realities and what you present to the world does not match up. Somehow it seems to be a mixed up puzzle because my inner realities are not matching up with what I present to the world. Something has to happen in me that brings about a new connection. That absent balance between being vulnerable and having your strength is waiting on you to make a decision. I want to tell you something today. You've got to see then that there has to come a time where you move beyond falling asleep because someone said you look nice. You move beyond falling asleep to yourself because someone says you look pretty. Move beyond the extremities to a point where you begin to build your self-esteem. To a point where you begin to take notice of your own self, to a point where you begin to set the pegs in your own destiny, begin to set up your own plan for your life so that you can come to a point of faith. Because you've got to see this then, that it's never too late to be what you might have been. Or tap somebody by the hand and tell them it's never too late. Oh, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. It went over your head. Tell them it's never too late to be what you might have been. Don't let somebody tell you that you will never be because they did not validate you with their love. But you've got to rediscover yourself and put yourself in a position where you know that God has skillfully and fearfully, wonderfully made you in his arms. I want to tell you, get your neighbor by the hand real quick, woman, and say, neighbor, with all that I am, and all that I've got, with everything about me, I'm wonderful. With all that I have, with my shapely self, I'm still wonderful. I am still gorgeous. I am still terrific. I am still marvelous. I don't care what nobody thinks about me. You've got to see this then, because you cannot allow someone else's thoughts to cause you to define yourself. I want to tell you that you're beyond that of a sexual object. You're beyond a childbearing machine. You're beyond that what folk think about you. You've got to learn to redefine yourself in the terms of your faith and in the terms of what God says you are. I need to close this thing out. Get your neighbor by the hand and tell him it's time for rebirth, renewal, and reconstruction. Somebody shout glory. You've got to see this then, because as God set up the women in the Bible, he's always had through the Holy Writ mothers who considered themselves that they were nothing until they came into relationship with a man. But I heard the Bible say it this way, that Eve is the mother of all living. Women, you've got to understand. Women, you've got to see then that we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. We wouldn't have life if it wasn't for you. That's why the enemy wants to mess up your mind and tell you that you're nothing, because he don't want you to continue to nourish and replenish the sons and the daughters that are in your life. You've got to see this then, that Eve, being the mother of all living, she understood that primarily her need was to take care of the life that God had given her, because every child is a gift that comes straight from God. And God said, blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them, because children come directly from God. But I'm here to tell you today that as Hannah began to pray, because she saw the necessary need for her development and for her reconstruction, she saw the necessary need for her to pour into somebody's life. I want to tell you something this morning. Don't let the devil get you to take your focus off on your purpose and put it up on some man's opinion, because you'll mess around and messed up your own life. I want to tell you something. I don't care how much my wife loves me. I want her to be an independent woman. That's why she's got her own rental property. That's why she got her own stuff working for her. Because she don't need to be defined by her own husband or by no man. She's got to have her own track. She got to have her own stuff. Somebody shout glory. I want you to understand, not too long ago, that's why you look at somebody and tell them, that's why you got to know how to work your stuff. Not too long ago, she said to me, she said, baby, I want a truck, a 4x4. So we went and got one. But just a few months later, before we can get the thing off the lot, not too long, she came back and said, baby, I want to pay it all off. So we went down to the bank and she paid the whole thing off. And don't owe nobody nothing. See, you can't let your life held up before somebody else, and you can't allow your life to be put on hold because somebody wanted to find you. But I'm here to tell you that it's time for reconstruction. It's time to reconstruct yourself and get your focus up.